Now, a school community northwest of Melbourne is reeling this morning after fake nude images of about 50 female students were created and then shared on social media. Bacchus Marsh Grammar's principal says it appears photos of the girls' faces were manipulated using AI to make what he described as obscene photos, which were then circulated online.
A teenage boy was arrested but has since been released pending further inquiries, and police say their investigation is ongoing. Let's go to our reporter Patrick Mitchell, who's at the school for us this morning. Pat, what can you tell us?
Emma, I can tell you that it was the students themselves who actually saw these images circulating on social media and raised the alarm. Bacchus Marsh Grammar says the girls are in the years between year 9 and year 12, which means some could be as young as 14. They went straight to the school and to police to raise the alarm. Now, police provided an update, as you said, last night, saying a teenager had been arrested and released pending further inquiries. Of course, this investigation is ongoing. Bacchus Marsh Principal Andrew Neil has been very strong to say that the school is taking this incredibly seriously. He says the conduct of those responsible is appalling. And this strikes at the hearts of students that are involved, and particularly the girls growing up at this age. Now, he believes at least 50 girls, that's 50 girls at this school, have been targeted, their faces taken from social media profiles before an AI tool was used to make pornographic images. All students are being supported while the school works with police to find those responsible and get these images offline.
Yeah, I can only imagine how shocking this would be for so many people. And Pat, interesting timing because the Albanese government's preparing, to introduce new legislation to tackle this very issue.
You have to say that's an urgent priority, isn't it, given what we're seeing here at Bacchus Marsh Grammar this week. So this legislation is aimed at to target those who are sharing deepfake pornography online, so these deepfakes that are made through AI tools. People who are sharing those images online can be jailed for up to 6 years if caught, and then that increases to 7 years if they're found to have also created the images through AI. Those new laws, which are going to Parliament this week, are expected to be supported by the entire Parliament. Everyone's on board in tackling this issue. It's an incredibly serious issue. As Andrew Neil, the principal of Bacchus Marsh, said, it strikes at the hearts of students, and it must be said, given women are most likely targeted, the most commonly targeted in these attacks, it really strikes at the heart of all women that could be targeted by this. And of course, the parents of the students involved here are going through an incredibly difficult time as well. As I said, those laws are urgent. They will cover material of adults, not children. There are separate laws that cover children. As I said, some of the images could involve girls as young as 14, so there are very serious offences attached to this. The police are investigating, and the school, as I said, is supporting them in that investigation.
Patrick Mitchell from Bacchus Marsh, thank you.
Let's go to some breaking news out of the United States this morning, with Joe Biden's son Hunter found guilty of gun charges overnight. He is the first child of a sitting president to be convicted of a crime. Our North America correspondent Barbara Miller was outside the court in Wilmington, Delaware.
I was in the courtroom just after the verdicts were read out and saw the Biden family trail out of court, and my sense was that they were really quite stunned. Some friends, supporters and family of Hunter Biden looking close to tears there by that verdict. They, of course, had hoped that the jury would be swayed by the defence's argument that there was no proof, they said, that Hunter Biden was using drugs at the time in October 2018 when he purchased a gun and crossed on a mandatory form, that he was not an addict. The prosecution clearly swaying the jury there with their arguments that Hunter Biden was an addict. He'd written a book about being an addict, and he knew it when he bought that gun. Now, Jill Biden, the First Lady, has been an almost constant presence in court. She's actually shuttled back and forth twice to France to the D-Day commemorations, coming back here to be in court. She didn't quite make it to hear the verdict being read out in court, but she arrived here at this court shortly afterwards. And as Hunter Biden left soon after that verdict, he held his stepmother's hand, his wife, on the other side. He didn't make spoken comments. He released a statement thanking friends and family for their support, saying he was more grateful for that support than disappointed in the outcome. Then we heard later from the special prosecutor, David Wise, overseeing this case. He said it wasn't about convicting someone because they were an addict. It was about the choices they had made.
That's Barbara Miller reporting there. It's an interesting time to be in the United States at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is, with those court cases, let alone the election coming up too. So on to other news. Singapore Airlines has offered 15,000 Australian dollars to anyone who suffered minor injuries on last month's turbulent flight from London to Singapore. Those with more serious injuries will receive an advance payment of almost $40,000. A Bangkok hospital treating passengers says there have been spinal cord, brain and skull injuries.
A warning that this next story contains content that some viewers may find distressing, and it also includes the image of an Indigenous person who has died. Western Australia's corruption watchdog has found no evidence of serious misconduct among staff on the night Cleveland Dodd was found unconscious in his cell. But it has found the facility was trapped in a cycle of destruction. 16-year-old Cleveland Dodd was in Unit 18, a temporary Perth youth detention facility. He self-harmed in his cell in October last year and then died later in hospital.
Australia has announced an extra $10 million for urgent humanitarian aid in Gaza. The funding will be directed to the World Food Programme to help provide food to Gazans at risk of famine. Meanwhile, the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has called for all parties to the Israel-Gaza war to agree on the ceasefire plan.
Darwin's healthcare crisis has developed this morning, with St John Ambulance Service revealing all 5 of the city's ambulances are at times unable to respond to emergencies. They've blamed delays paramedics have when offloading patients at the Royal Darwin Hospital. On Sunday, the ABC's Insiders program revealed that the hospital is operating in emergency management conditions on a daily basis.
A new report into the cost of childcare is recommending it be made free or very cheap for families. The Centre for Policy Development suggests households on combined incomes of $80,000 or less should get 3 days of free childcare a week. Parents earning more than that would be asked to pay $30 for those 3 days. The proposal could cost the federal government $7 billion a year.
The first ever T-Rex skeleton to go on display in Victoria has been unveiled, with its skull weighing a massive 139 kilograms. The fossil, dating back about 66 million years, give or take a bit, will be on display at the Melbourne Museum from the 28th of June.
And animal rights protesters have vandalised a portrait of King Charles in a London art gallery. A picture of Wallace from Wallace and Gromit was pasted over the monarch's face by 2 supporters of the group Animal Rising. Police are investigating and no permanent damage has been done to the portrait, which was only unveiled last month.